Dean, thanks for your question. So I confess I had to read this question a couple times before I could figure out how to draw this picture. So here's my final picture. Let's take a look at what's going on. Point S is where the boat is starting at. Point D is the final destination of the boat. The boat would really like to go from start to destination, but unfortunately, we have a wind blowing straight in that direction, so it can't. So what the boat does is it takes this roundabout route and it travels down to point T where it turns at a 90-degree angle and then goes a distance B over to its final destination. We also know that the distance between point S and point D is 6,000 meters, and we know that the boat initially travels at a 45-degree angle to the wind. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and apply the Pythagorean theorem to this problem. But first we need to figure out what's going on with this triangle and fill in some of the details. We're going to use the fact that the sum of the angles, the interior angles, in all triangles is equal to 180 degrees. Where we're given two angles here, so we can certainly figure out what the other angle is, and the other angle is also a 45-degree angle. We have a 45, 45, 90 triangle. The next thing we're going to be applying is the fact that sides across from congruent angles are also congruent. So we have side B, which is across from this 45-degree angle here, and side A, which is across from this 45-degree angle here. Since both of these angles are congruent, the sides are also congruent. Let's go ahead and mark that. That's going to make things a lot easier to deal with when we apply the Pythagorean theorem. As you can see, I have the Pythagorean theorem written out here. A squared plus B squared, where A and B are the legs, is equal to C squared, where C is the hypotenuse. Well, we know that sides A and B are congruent. We just figured that out. So we really have B is equal to A. And we can go ahead and rewrite that in the problem. So this should simplify to A squared plus A squared is equal to C squared. Well, we have two like terms here, so we can go ahead and group them. What we have is 2 times A squared is equal to C squared. We're also given the length of C in the problem. They tell us that it's 6,000 meters. So let's go ahead and write that in the problem. So 2 times A squared is equal to length C is 6,000 meters. And don't forget to square that. We can't drop that. Now it looks like we only have one letter left in our problem, which means we should be able to solve it at this point. So let's go ahead and divide both sides by 2. And we have A squared is equal to 6,000 meters squared. Divided by 2. We can take the square root of both sides now and solve for A. Taking the square root of A squared, we just end up with A on the left-hand side. Let's go ahead and put a big square root symbol over on the right-hand side. And we still have 6,000 meters squared in the numerator and 2 on the bottom. This is definitely a calculator problem. So what this is at this point is approximately 4,224.6 meters, but you want to make sure that you don't round off until the end. What they're asking for in the problem is the total length that the boat travels. So they are looking for distance A plus distance B. Well, since A equals B, what we're going to do is we're going to take the solution we got for A and just multiply it by 2. And when you do that, the total distance that you get will be approximately 8,485.3 meters. Thanks again for your question, Christine, and I look forward to answering more of your questions using SnapMath in the future.